There's a lie that many of us believe that is keeping us average, keeping us from reaching excellence in any one thing at any one time. And not just that, it's actually causing us mental turmoil because we're comparing ourselves with everybody else based on what this lie is saying. And if you can escape the lie and understand what the truth is, you are going to be so much more free and actually be able to achieve excellence in what you're working for, to become exceptional as an athlete, as a worker, as a parent or spouse or child of God. The lie is that you have to be at your peak in everything all the time. And it's simply not true. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says, "There is a season for everything, a time for everything under the sun, a time to be born, a time to die," and the list goes on and on and on. And the faster we learn to accept that seasons are going to come whether we like it or not, and we can't change them, but we can work with them, the more we can grow in any one thing. This is an excerpt coming from my book, Train with Purpose for a Higher Purpose. I'm releasing the manuscript in just a few days, the final manuscript, and putting it out for pre-order. So the whole idea here is we can deceive ourselves into thinking that everyone is achieving a peak in their fitness, in their business, in their life, in their family, in their faith, at all the time, always, because that's what we see on social media. But that's not really how it works. And once you can take that pressure off of yourself that you don't need to be at your best all the time, then it will just be so much more freeing. So for example, I often hit my fitness peak in September and October. I realized then, for some reason, I just enjoy my workouts a lot more, and I'm training a lot harder, and just everything's more fun. And so I take advantage of that. I increase my volume on the bike. I increase my intensity and frequency for strength training. And I keep everything else, business and education and even sometimes family, in maintenance mode. And right now, as I'm trying to finish the book, it's, what is it, December? Yeah, I got the Christmas tree back here. As I'm trying to finish the book, I understand that this is taking my attention. From literally 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., I'm out here finishing and writing and editing and refining this book. And so everything else is in maintenance mode, including my fitness. I'm still working out. I'll still do what is required, but I can't peak at that and peak in my business and peak as I'm writing and peak with my family and be at an all-time high in everything all the time. That's just not how life works. That's not how seasons work. So instead of feeling guilty for not excelling in every area of your life all the time, learn to work with the seasons. Recognize that priorities change as the years change, as the seasons change, and don't be so hard on yourself. Each season has its purpose. And while we're on the topic, there's something to be said about balance as well, because we try to balance everything, balance the work, balance the faith, balance the education, balance the training, balance the family life. And balance isn't about equally distributing to everything. That's not how it is. Balance is about creating stability. And I find that I can really only excel in any one thing at one time while keeping everything else in maintenance mode. Because when I try to do everything at once, I do everything poorly. When I can give my attention to one thing and excel at that one thing, then keep that in maintenance as I move on to the next, growth happens. But we can also take this overboard. So let me give you a very vulnerable example. At 20 years old, I really worked hard to achieve my peak physique. I strength trained every single day. I did fasted cardio very often, 5-10 kilometer runs. I was eating pristine diet, hitting my protein, getting my sleep in, taking cold showers. I was literally feeling like I am the epitome of health and fitness, okay? But there's just this one tiny problem. I felt a flutter in my heart, just like it skipped a beat this one day. I was like, oh, that's normal. That's no biggie, right? Everyone has a heart palpitation every now and then. Next day, happened again. Next day, happened again. Happened again and again and again and again and again. They were getting bigger and more frequent and happening in with shorter breaks between them. And one day I just got so terrified. So I went to the hospital, went to the emergency room, and they're asking, oh, are you an athlete? I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. How often do you work? And they're asking me these kinds of questions, and they check my blood pressure, they check my heart rate, which at the time, sitting at 28 beats per minute. I'll upload the screenshot here as well, because I still have that. I was wearing my Apple Watch. And after spending the whole day at the hospital, they gave me this ECG to wear. And so I go home, most depressing days of my life. I'm wearing this ECG. I'm not allowed to exercise. I'm not allowed to shower. My sleep is choppy. I felt like my body was betraying me. And then after they took it off, the doctor found out that I have this condition called athlete's heart. So I won't go into it, but basically my heart got bigger as an adaptation from my training, which makes it more efficient, thus my low heart rate, but it causes some side effects, unfortunately, like palpitations, which is scary to think that the same side effects, the same symptoms are shared with those having heart attacks. In essence, I took a very good thing, training and health and fitness, and took it to an extreme. Because, you know, in at least for us as cyclists, endurance athletes, the low resting heart rate is like the epitome, the crown jewel of fitness. But we can also take something so good to an extreme. And it's very easy to trick ourselves into thinking we found the balance, we found something that's working for us, while simultaneously pushing yourself far beyond what you can actually handle. And if you don't take a break, if you don't rest, you will be forced to. Each of us has to find the right balance and work within the right season of life. Sometimes we're going to be excelling in one thing, and other times we're going to be maintaining it. And other times, unfortunately, we're going to be declining as well. And that's just life. Those are the seasons. The leaves aren't on the trees all year round. They come out and then they fall down. Learn to embrace it. Learn to work with it. And don't be so hard on yourself. I get it. We're athletes. We train hard. But develop awareness. Realize whether you're actually standing on stable ground or unstable ground. Whether you have balance or whether you don't. What this season is right for you to excel in, and focus on that and avoid the extremes. Because Ecclesiastes tells us, whoever fears God avoids all extremes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if this resonated with you, if anything I said here resonated with you. And subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you here. We'll catch you next time.